Every evening around 6 p.m., I walked into Iron Core MMA gym with a mop in one hand and silence in my pocket. Nobody asked my name. Nobody asked where I was from. I was just the janitor. The man who cleaned the mats after others sweated, shouted, and sparred their way through the night. I didn't mind. People paid me to clean, not to talk. I preferred it that way. Coach Darren, though, he loved attention. Big voice, big ego. Called himself the soul of the gym. Every time I passed by, he tossed a snide remark, like I was the joke of the day. "Careful, old man," he'd say. "Don't trip on that mop. Don't want you pulling a hamstring." I laughed it off. But what he didn't know? Every insult swept across my ears like dust on the floor. Harmless. Until one Thursday night, he crossed a line. Before we dive into the story, we'll love to thank you for your continued support to this channel. If you enjoy this story and stories like this, kindly subscribe and hit on the notification button so you don't miss any of our stories. Our shout out goes to Patrick from Palm Springs, California. We will love to hear from you also. Tell us where you're watching from in the comment section. We'll love to give you a shout out in our next video. Now let's begin. That night, the gym was packed. Students, parents, a few weekend warriors trying to cut weight. I was almost done with my shift when one of the younger guys, Marcus, dropped his gloves near the cage and sprinted out for a phone call. I picked them up, as I always did, and walked toward the rack to return them. That's when Coach Darren turned, eyes wide, voice booming. "Hey everyone, look! Joe wants to spar." Laughter exploded across the gym. Some clapped. Others doubled over, pointing. "You got some moves under that broom, Joe." Darren laughed. "Come on. One round. Just for fun." I froze. Not because I was afraid, but because I knew what would happen if I said yes. I saw those young men, boys, really, laughing, thinking I was nothing more than floor dirt. Darren thought it was entertainment. I saw it as something else. "All right," I said, locking eyes with him. "One round." The room went silent, then erupted in disbelief. "He's serious?" someone whispered. Coach Darren was already pulling out gear. "You sure about this?" he asked. I nodded. "Let's just keep it clean." He tossed me a headguard and the gloves. My fingers slipped into them like second skin. My heart wasn't racing. My breathing was steady. Everything felt familiar. We entered the cage. The crowd pressed in, phones out. Most expected a spectacle. Some expected a tragedy. I heard a guy near the front mumble, "This is going to be embarrassing." We touched gloves. The moment they tapped, I knew. Darren didn't respect me. He didn't expect much. That would be his first mistake. He came at me fast, sloppy jabs, wide hooks. I pivoted left, let his punch breeze by, and tapped his ribs with a sharp right. He stumbled back. The laughter stopped. "Beginner's luck," Darren muttered. But there was tension in his voice now. He rushed again, this time with a spinning kick. Predictable. I ducked low, swept his planted leg, and sent him crashing onto his back. Gasps filled the air. Phones now pointed downward, capturing every second. He got up quickly, red-faced, angrier. "All right," he barked. "Let's go." But now his movements were fueled by pride, not skill. He charged with a wild cross. I slipped under it and jabbed his chin just hard enough to make his knees shake. He froze. The gym held its breath. I didn't hit him again. I backed away and pulled off the gloves. "Thanks for the round," I said, handing the gloves to Marcus, who stood wide-eyed, jaw dropped. I picked up my mop and quietly returned to work. By the next day, the whispers had begun. "Did you see what happened last night? Who was that guy?" Someone said he used to fight professionally, and they weren't wrong. A few students dug deep enough to find the footage. Joseph Banks, it read on the title card. 1994, amateur national champion. Olympic trials finalist. Retired early after a knee injury. I was a name once. A name people shouted. But I'd left all that behind. After the injury, the fame faded. The world moved on. I moved with it. Now, the same kids who once called me Old Joe were lining up just to talk to me. Even Darren started treating me differently, less loud, more careful. And Marcus? He walked up to me that weekend with a question that changed everything. Sir, do you teach? I looked at him and smiled. Not the smug smile Darren wore. A real one. I teach, I said, but only to those willing to learn everything, from fighting to mopping. So we started slow. Just Marcus and I. Then 2 others joined. Then 6. The back corner of the gym, once empty, became our quiet training ground. No flash, no showboating. Just discipline, humility, and truth. Coach Darren never sparred me again, but he watched every session from the sidelines. Sometimes nodding. Sometimes, I think, learning something. They had laughed when the janitor stepped into the cage. But when the dust settled, they weren't laughing anymore. They were listening. If you believe respect should be earned, not assumed, tap that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. You never know who's been quietly waiting for the right moment to remind the world who they really are.